This is May. She started a small backyard dairy farm with only 5 cows. Fast forward 10 years, she now owns her own milk brand with over 2,000 dairy cattle. Let's have a tour. This is the farm layout. Through biosecurity, we have the feed mill, milk pen and calf pen. Then on top, we have 4 lagoons, an incinerator and a breeder site. On our right is the pasture. This is the milk pen equipped with rotary milk parlour, calf pen along with boost pen and isolation/quarantine, and lastly the feed mill. Here, dairy milk and meat are the main product, but what about the byproducts? Do you know, one cow alone makes up to 15 kg of feces, belches 200 liters of methane, and uses 378 liters of water every single day. If the byproducts are not handled wisely, meat dairy production would be unsustainable and cause a lot of pollution, such as poisoning of drinking water due to toxic algal bloom. The algae can cause the water quality to deteriorate and even deplete oxygen and kill fish. So, what should we do to manage the vessels and put pollution at bay? Don't worry, I know what I should do. In Malaysia, there are 3 most methods used, which are anaerobic lagoon, solid storage, and daily spread. In anaerobic lagoon, the manure becomes partially liquefied and stabilized by bacterial action. Lagoon should be filled with water to 1/3 to 1/2 of the designed volume before manure is introduced into the lagoon. This will ensure sufficient dilution is available for the establishment of bacterial activity. Now, I want to show you the lagoon structure.
The lagoon is built on clay soil. The floor has a layer of concrete, a series of monitoring pipes, and a heavy plastic landfill liner. It is surrounded by a 1/4-inch thick liner of plastic welded in place. The lagoon is 16 feet deep.
Other than using lagoon, I also compost the manure. Manure usually is piled into a windrow 10 to 12 feet wide and 4 to 6 feet high. Carbon or nitrogen ratio should be 30 to 1, and then the moisture content around 50%. Composting manure is effective because it can reduce volume, kills pathogen, kills weed seed, and improve soil health and fertility. Next, I also use alternative ways such as biogas management. In biogas management, the animal dung is mixed with water to make a slurry in the mixing tank. The slurry enters the digestive tank through the inlet chamber. The slurry is left for about 2 months for fermentation. Anaerobic microorganisms are responsible for fermentation, which produce biogas, and it is collected in the dome. It adds a large pressure on the slurry and forces it to go in the overflow chamber. The biogas is taken out from the dome through a pipe and used for cooking food or heating water and others. The residue to the plant is used as manure because it is rich in nitrogen and phosphorus. Next is biofilter system. The slurry flows through a number of channels that screens and takes out any insoluble large particle where screens. The slurry then passes to large dams. Here, fine particles sink to the bottom and form a sludge which is then regularly removed and further treated. Here, we use bacteria to clean up the liquid sewage. The bacteria helps purify the liquid by actively feeding on it and turning most of it into carbon dioxide, water, and nitrogen. The liquid goes into further setting tanks to remove the remaining particles, leaving clean water. Next, I want to show you how I manage the milk residue. Milk is a harmful pollutant. If the milk accidentally entered the waterway, the water will overwhelm with bacteria and increase the BOD and result in death of aquatic life. After 5 days, other problems may occur. Mixture of the milk and effluent can give off lethal and explosive gases. So, to solve that, what can I do? Number 1, I usually spread the milk onto the pasture 20 meters away from the waterways as liquid fertilizer. Number 2, I dig a dish, empty the milk into it and cover it with soil to avoid other issues. Number 3, I feed the surplus milk because it is high in energy, protein and fat. Number 4, dairy effluent with pH more than 10 or less than 6.5 is not allowed to drain to sewage treatment plant. Instead, it is drained to mixing tank and regulated before discharge. The most important thing is minimizing the effluent volume. First, comes stockmanship before entering the milking parlor. Second, do water audit and fix leakage. Third, recycle clean effluent. And lastly, use rubber scraper. Next, I want to show you how I manage the carcass. First of all, I need to inform the vet officer. There are 3 options to manage the carcass. First, burial, second, burning, and third, incineration. But I always opt for these 2, which are burial and incineration. Alright, now I have my bulldozer. So the burial area needs to be at a flat land and not closer than 100 meters from farm facility to water erosion, odor and verming. The hole is up to 1 to 1.2 meter deep. Here, my worker has brought the dead carcass and I will illustrate how it is buried. Next is carcass disposal using incinerator. The pros of using incinerator are: while the cons are: so that's how I manage the waste in my farm. But what if the waste is not managed properly? What will happen? Let me show you.